Welcome to week 2 of On Top the Cage. What's happening, buddy?
Week 2, baby. I'm ready to go.
Week 2. Week 1 did not disappoint.
Oh my God, those 1 o'clock games were freaking awesome.
Awesome games. I love it that the National Football League is back. It was a ton of fun. We got a lot to talk about, and we'll talk about all the different things that happen in the National Football League, but we always do our little opening segment. So we missed a couple things. Birthdays.
Oh.
It's early. We missed Mark the Mechanic. His birthday was last Saturday.
On the 10th, yes it was.
He was a guest picker. He was very popular, polarizing.
Yeah.
All of those things. The comments range from, this guy's freaking awesome, he should be on every week, to, there's a homeless guy that crashed the set, if I recall correctly.
This guy needs to go to church.
My brother-in-law, Teddy, yes, that was on there too. His birthday was Monday, so we missed both of those. We
Teddy,
apologize.
happy birthday.
Yes, sir. Happy birthday to both of you fellas. Do we have any coming up this week? We'll probably miss again. We'll probably do this exact same opening
yours
segment.
When's yours?
26. We got a couple of weeks for that. So I got a big weekend coming up this weekend. Homecoming for the high school is this week. And I have 2 seniors and a freshman.
Lovely.
I don't know if the freshman's even eligible to go, but I don't think he's planning on going.
Everybody's eligible for homecoming. Shoot, I don't even think you need a date anymore. You can just go.
You can, but is it just prom where you're eligible and not eligible,
yes,
or whatever the situation? So maybe they can all go. I don't know.
Either way, there's a line for the breathalyzer to get in.
Right. Speaking of that, holy cow, I got a breathalyzer story, maybe. We'll see if it comes out in this show. But Keaton has a date. Gavin has a long-standing girlfriend. I think they're both going, so we got that going on, and I have Parents Weekend down at Ohio State where my son Connor goes. I'm trying to figure out whether or not I'm going to go down there for that.
I would go down another time.
That's funny you say that, because one of the guys at the law firm, and he's had multiple kids in college, and he says amateur week down there, or amateur weekend down there, and just pick a different weekend to go. So, I don't know. I got to talk to Connor about that. Get a bunch of Trump
moms because they're freshmen down there. They've been away for, 2 weeks? And,
right.
They're going to be there. Yeah,
it's going to be a wreck. They play, Ohio State plays Toledo, I believe, at 7 p.m. I'll talk to Connor about that. We'll figure that all out. So,
yeah. Send him $50. He'll be happy.
Tell you what, it doesn't go that far these days. But
he'll still be happy.
I used to get $10 a week at college from my parents, mailed. And it would show up like clockwork on Thursdays.
Wow, you're lucky. I didn't get shit.
It was like almost a case of beer back then in the early 90s. But I wouldn't even necessarily grab the envelope out of the little area where we went and got our mail at Quincy University where I went. Sometimes my friends would get it because they knew it came on Thursdays as well. We know what it's going to be spent on, which was a case of lousy beer. But anyway, did you end up making any special meal or anything like that for game day, for Sunday game day?
We had a drinking day because the Browns were playing Carolina, Baker Mayfield, so we were all in on cracking open beers as soon as we could Sunday. Even my wife partook in that.
Oh, nice.
After
church?
Right after church, baby. I smoked some wings. Didn't send any pictures because they were just wings. So we got the big chicken wings, smoked those, did some chicken breast, did some green beans. That was it.
I made lunch and dinner, and I made it before 1 p.m., both of them.
Nice. I was going to say, how the hell did you do both?
Yeah, well, buffalo chicken sliders for lunch. They were a huge hit. I've never made them. I used the air fryer for the first time. That contraption's been in our house for quite a while. What an awesome piece of machinery that is. Holy shit. But meanwhile, it was just chicken nuggets, jalapeno cheese, pickle, some sauce, slider buns in the oven for 20 minutes or whatever it was. Rave reviews.
Really?
Yes, they absolutely love them.
Did you make it up or did you see it somewhere?
I made it up for the most part. Nice. I mean, literally, it was 3 chicken nuggets. I was trying to squeeze them on there, but the cheese kept them together.
You need a TikTok channel, too.
I don't know about all that. We'll see about that. And then I made Chicago-style Italian beef because it was opening week for the Bears. That's always been somewhat of a hit at the house. So
that's funny. I think I'm doing an Italian-style or Cleveland Italian-style beef for next week when we go to the Brown-Steelers game.
Oh, you're going?
To tailgate.
What's the Cleveland style of the Italian beef? Do you know?
I don't know. It's not at Chicago
because
I'm making it.
All right, fair enough. Let's talk about youth football team. We always talk about that.
Oh, back in business, baby.
Off the schneid?
Yes, sir. Put 34 points on a team.
That's funny. I actually went out there, but I'll tell you the story about how that kind of happened. Friday night we talked. I don't know. It was 10:30, 11 o'clock at night. I know when we talked, we both had our share of drinks.
Yes.
When we talked.
Yeah,
you had
Friday
people
night.
over and things like that, and I was out here and, excited about the football games on Saturday, Sunday.
Our
blah, blah.
local high school team won a thriller.
They
went
did,
for two with no time on the clock and friggin' won.
That wasn't the
They
only
haven't
game.
beat that team in 7 years.
Yeah, all good stuff. I committed to Dan's.
Crew was on. That
On
was
Friday
crew
night?
night on Friday.
It
Yeah.
might have been.
I had
I think
two
you're right.
TVs going that night in the garage.
Speaking of that, Dan does have two TVs. He needed it last week. So here's what happens. Well, in our conversation, Dan not goaded me. He asked me to go to the youth football game, and I had plenty of drinks. I'm like, sure, I'm in. I already had Keaton's club baseball game earlier in the day, and I tell you what, I regretted it in the morning committing to go to your youth football game because here's what happened.
Game was until 4 o'clock. You lightweight.
I know. But so all the sports kind of end by midnight here, but you know what I did at midnight? I turned on Top the Cage. Watched the entire hour and 6 minutes.
On Friday night?
On Friday night. I watched the entire thing, hour and 6 minutes.
Well, we should make it 20 minutes so you don't stay up that late.
I'll tell you about this though, because the way this whole thing works, we shoot on Wednesdays, and on Thursday morning, it goes through the processing portion of the program. It takes like an hour and a half through YouTube, depending on how much traffic there is, and then I publish it. But meanwhile, it's at my other office at work, my other job, if you will.
Your real job?
My real job, yes. And it plays like faintly, very lowly in the background. And I'm listening to it on Thursday morning. I'm like, this sucks. It's boring. But I tell you what, when I watch it on Friday night after plenty of drinks, I'm like,
Hell yeah, baby. We
I'm
should
like,
have won an
this is-
Emmy. Sports
This is
Emmy.
fucking greatness. Yes. There was a huge difference in my thought process in regards to how good the show was. So,
Nice.
That's funny. You talked about your two TVs. That's a new addition in the garage.
Yeah, well, we got the one old one you had, threw that up there on the wall, and then the one that we had there on the wall is really light, so that's back on the deck. But it was kind of rainy over the weekend, so I didn't have it on the deck, so I'm like, well, what the hell? It's got a freaking Roku on it. I'm not letting this baby go to waste.
No, not at all. And you
Plug
needed
it
it.
in.
You needed it on Sunday. There were some awesome games and awesome moments and things like that. Let's do the beer review, and then we'll get into football. All right. Beer review comes from my favorite brewery, the RSA Brewing Company, here in Akron, Ohio. It is called Venture Capitalist.
Yeah.
I chose it. The can presentations are always awesome. They're sweating
It's
already.
pretty good.
Dan, we got a triple IPA.
Yeah. The alcohol in this thing is, what did I say earlier? Where did it go? 10%. Good grief.
Awesome can presentations. Always. There's this hand sticking out. It's got a gold coin in it. I pick them for names largely. Hopefully we can make you guys some money this week.
Well,
What do you think?
I don't know what a triple IPA is. It does have a different taste to it. Like,
Is
it's
it
not-
amazing
it's
like
not
all their other
fruity.
beers?
It's not really heavy either. It's dark.
Speaking of making you guys money, last week Dan went 7-9. As you see, no shots on the table. I went 9-7. Elephant picks, no, Dan.
Yeah, no.
Dan picked San Francisco as a touchdown favorite in Soldier Field. They lost by 3 scores.
I didn't know it was going to be played in a freaking lake. It was, what, the 6th Great Lake inside of that stadium.
It was awesome. Probably the best image of the week.
Yeah.
What are we on? Tropical Storm Hurricane G?
No, I don't. I looked. There was no Fiona. You're full of
There's
crap.
a
We aren't
Fiona.
even to F.
You know what G stands for? What the name is for G?
What?
Go fuck yourselves to the national media about the Chicago Bears and that tropical storm they played in. The narrative's completely wrong. I told you last week it is. I had that one queued up from the beginning. I did hit my elephant pick. Pittsburgh. They were getting 6.5. They won the game outright in a crazy football game.
How about that game? I've never heard a thud like that when somebody hits the goalpost. I
Bang.
don't know if you had the sound on.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it was. I wanted to go to Taco Bell.
What does that mean?
Haven't you seen the commercial where the dong and
Oh, yeah, I know what you're talking about. I do know what you're talking about. Dan and I both now 2-1 on the college football season. I did win that overtime game at Tennessee-Pittsburgh. It was 6.5. Obviously could have won either way.
Game.
So we're both 2-1 on that stuff. So
what the hell? I'm looking at the board. What's gender reveal? I'm kind of curious.
Oh, I was picking out a couple of best moments from, I thought, week 1. Just fun stuff, celebration-wise, things like that. Thursday night, the slot receiver for the Buffalo Bills, his name's Isaiah McKenzie. He caught a touchdown, right? And he catches his touchdown, and he goes and finds the camera after he scores a touchdown, takes out his mouthpiece, and says, "It's a boy." And I saw the Twitter clip. His sister and all their family were at this bar in Buffalo and watching the game, and obviously it's going well. And the clip shows he takes his mouthpiece out. It's a boy. The bar goes crazy. His sister, jumps into, I'm assuming, her husband's, hopefully, arms, and things like that. It was the best gender reveal I've ever seen.
So who was pregnant?
His sister.
His sister.
And she didn't know if it was a boy or girl, and it was all planned out.
How the hell did she not know, but he knew? That was the gender reveal the doctor told him?
Well, I don't know, mom knows, gives it to him. I mean, it's got to be a surprise they do all kinds of crazy shit, but I thought it was awesome. Only to the best image in my mind was the Chicago Bears when they won the game, and the entire offense that's on the field after they toss the ball after victory formation and go running 30 yards into the end zone and do belly whoppers into the end zone that Frosty would have been proud of.
That was crazy how much water was on that field.
That
was insane.
It really came down late in the game. It looked like there was 2 inches of rain on the field.
It was, yeah.
Like, it was nuts.
And there was a part where the water did dissipate. But then when it started raining again at the end of the game, I'm like, holy hell, man. Maybe there's a couch blocking the drain or something. They're in the inner city, so.
They got 5 inches of rain.
That's insane.
Which is tropical storm status. So, yeah, it was crazy. It was an awesome image. I was loving every second of it. But those were kind of the 2 best moments, I thought, in National Football League. Outside of the crazy games and the overtime games and a lot of missed field goals and extra points.
It was insane. Those 1 o'clock games were insane. And then I was kind of let down at the 4 o'clock ones.
Yeah. They weren't as good. Obviously, you have more in the 1 o'clock slot generally than the 4 p.m. slot. But
then I'm all confused with the announcers doing, different broadcasts and different times and stuff. I'm like, wait, these idiots are on this? I'm like, ugh.
That's a perfect segment in a Thursday Night Football because those of you who don't stream, you better get your Amazon Prime membership because it's the only way that you will watch Thursday Night Football.
Hey, while we're still on beer, John, we're looking for that Voodoo Ranger.
Oh, yes, John, we appreciate all the comments. We had a great viewership week last week. We greatly appreciate all of the fans of the show. There was one request from Mark the Mechanic's good buddy, John. He wants us to do a Voodoo Ranger beer. We will accommodate, I'm sure, at some point in time as soon as we find it on the shelves.
Yep. We
all
don't
right.
need you to mail it to us. We'll find it.
We'll take, I'll take donations.
Well, he said he'd Venmo some money so we can buy it.
I'm not doing
like,
that.
we don't need that.
I'm not no Venmo.
Yeah.
If the beer shows up on my doorstep, I'm taking it. But other than that, no. We don't need any Venmo, Zelle, or whatever, all those other different ways of sending people money. We got a great Thursday night football game. It's the Los Angeles Chargers traveling to Arrowhead to play the Kansas City Chiefs. The line is Kansas City -4. The over-under is a pretty darn big number at 55.5. Chargers come off their win against Las Vegas. Herbert looked great again.
Yep.
They added pieces on defense, immediately paid dividends. Their trade of
Mack.
3 sacks in that first game. J.C. Jackson did not play. Neither did Keenan Allen, who I believe has been ruled out again. Yeah, he's their star receiver. I mean, they still have plenty of weapons, and they showed it last week against the Raiders with a pretty darn good performance. Kansas City comes off a pretty good performance of their own out in Arizona. They didn't miss a beat in regards to missing. No Tyreek Hill, no problem, basically, for Mahomes, Kelsey, and that whole crew. They're working in different receivers between McCole Hardman and Juju Smith-Schuster and everything else, but it looked pretty darn good again. Like I said, the line's -4 in this game. You want to take the lead, Dan, or you want me to?
I'm still waiting for a team to stop Kelsey. If you shut Kelsey down, I think Kansas City's a different team. I don't know if that's going to happen this week. I'm not sold on the Chargers defense yet. I mean, I know they added Khalil Mack, but I'm going with Kansas City on this.
I'm going to go the other way out of the gate. I love this Charger team. I love this Charger team. I think they're right there. They're on the cusp. When they get a chance to prove this, Arrowhead's going to be nuts. I mean, it's opening week. That's a difficult thing. We saw that Monday night in Seattle, but we'll get to those two teams and how much the crowd and the 12th man in Seattle can affect a football game, and they did. But
and a rookie head coach that looked stupid.
He did. We'll talk about that. That was a questionable decision at best as far as the description goes at the end of that game.
That wasn't the only one.
So I agree with all that stuff. I'm going to take the Chargers. I like the defense. I like that Max there. Maybe J.C. Jackson plays. I hope he plays. We'll see. I think it's a very competitive, close game. I think it could go either way. The line's big enough for me to try to get under it. I got the field goal gift. So I'm going to take the Chargers +4 in this game. Next game on the board, the Miami Football Dolphins, the in-laws team. They travel up the coast to Baltimore. Both of these teams are 1-0. Let me do the line. Baltimore's -3.5 in this game. Over-under's 43.5. Miami comes off their win against New England. Baltimore comes off their win against the Jets. Let's talk about Miami first. By the way, you know the boys chain, and Tom's on there, my father-in-law.
Yeah.
You got him saying Ratbirds. He's been
mentioning
Ratbirds
all
week.
Friggin' Ratbirds.
All week.
Hell yeah. And Mudbutt's the quarterback.
That's right. So maybe that'll make an appearance. They brought their defense there, and you know they shut down that New England team. Pretty good. It was a defense that did the trick more than anything.
Yeah. And see, this is a tricky game because New England really looked bad, and the Jets really looked bad. I mean,
both teams struggled to run the ball, and we'll see who runs it best. Baltimore, I think, is going to get J.K. Dobbins back this week. He fully practiced today. Yeah, I mean, Miami's got a fun team. I'm happy for the in-laws. I guarantee I got brother-in-laws and maybe even Tom doing this little thing.
The waddle.
The waddle, yes. I'm going to need, Grant, I'm going to need a TikTok from you and Bridget. See if maybe then Billy and Jane can up it one. Maybe we have a waddle off for TikTok. Now that TikTok got mentioned on the show. I don't know. Let's see what happens here. I mean, what do you think?
I think the Dolphins freaking slap the Ratbirds. I'm taking the Ratbirds. Or no, the Dolphins, not the Ratbirds. Screw that.
I think it's a great game. I think it could go either way. I really do. I love the hook in the game. I absolutely love the hook being 3.5.
There's some hooks in a lot of games.
I think it could be a field goal game either way. I'm riding with you. I'm riding with the Finns. I'm riding with the in-laws. Hopefully things keep rolling for them. So
I don't know. Second-year coach on the road. You won last week. You're going against Harbaugh.
You put so much into the coaching. Well, it's certainly fair.
It was the first time. All the coaches won until that Monday night game when that idiot just we should call him Mudbutt too.
Well, Mike McDaniel went for a 4th and 7, and I think Tyreek Hill said he needs a wheelbarrow to carry around his nuts going for it on 4th and 7, which they converted.
Hey, builds your team, though. I mean, what the hell?
And we're going to talk about Brian Dable down in the show. I mean, that's probably the biggest example of it. But we're both in agreement. We like the Fins?
Yeah.
All right, next game on the board, the New York Jets travel to Dan's football team, the Cleveland Browns. Jets are 0-1. We just mentioned they lost to Baltimore. Cleveland is 1-0 off their win in Carolina. They've been installed as 6-point favorites in this game. Over-under is not big.
From
40.5.
-1, you're the underdog, against Carolina to a 6-point favorite next week.
4 letters.
The Jets.
Jets. Jets. Listen. The Jets are missing Zach Wilson. I mean, they added all kinds of young players.
They're missing an offensive line.
I didn't see a lot of the Baltimore game.
There was no highlights. Of course, nobody saw it unless you were watching
I think the final score was 24-9 Baltimore in that game.
Flacco threw the ball 59 freaking times.
Oh, I did see that. That's nuts. Why not? I mean, they just couldn't run the ball.
59 times. They can't run the ball. The only thing good on the Jets is their D-line. So can their D-line stop our running game and make Brissett pass the ball? That's what's concerning to me.
I mean, and Cleveland brings an established run game to the table in Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt.
Yeah, and then you got other dudes that didn't even see the field around the ball.
Fantasy players are pissed because Kareem Hunt got the rushing touchdowns, didn't he? And Chubb did the heavy
My
load.
son's not pissed because he's got Kareem Hunt.
Really? I think Chubb did all the heavy loads, and he's a great back. And then I feel like
Kareem, he had a freaking 20-yard draw touchdown. I mean, that dude runs with some freaking. I mean, he runs like he wants to kill you.
And you guys drafted a kicker in the 4th round.
Yeah, baby. Thank God.
That's a very high pick for a kicker.
He was money though.
Was it 58 yards? 58 I want to say to win the game.
And I said to my wife, I'm like, if they move the ball and they get down there, they got a chance. And when they crossed the red line on the TV, we were like, well, here we go. Let's see what happens.
My prediction is he gets a chance to break the record. What is the record?
64 yards, I think.
64 yards. I bet Stefanski gives him a chance to break the record in his rookie season. Cleveland -6. I have a feeling I know where Dan's going to go. I'm going to go first. I love the Browns in this game. I love the Browns in this game and their run game. And meanwhile, we got Brownie the Elf at midfield now, so I like that part of it.
It's not what I voted for, but it's still cool.
I love the Browns in this game. We'll see if it appears on the elephant. But next game on the board, the Washington football team. They travel to Motor City, Detroit. Washington football team is 1-0 after a back-and-forth win against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Detroit, game again. Obviously lost to a very good Philadelphia football team at home. Let's talk about Washington football team. Their new, by the way, the line. Detroit, -1.5 in this game. Let me tell you something. This is the first time in 25 weeks that the Detroit Lions have been favored in a football game since November of 2020. Good for Detroit. They're 1.5-point favorites in this game. The over-under is 49. Washington football team. I mean, Wentz threw 4 touchdowns. He threw 2 picks. John Dotson was involved. I don't know. I mean, I watched some of the Detroit-Philadelphia game at the end because it ended up hurting my bank account at the end because I was on Philadelphia -4. I have no idea how fucking Detroit always finds a way to get under the number. It's super annoying, but they're not under the number. They're over the number this week. They're -1.5. Are we going to be saying hey, that was a good effort, just short? They're going to win this football game.
Yeah, I'm going with Detroit on this. I'm not Washington. To me, they played one messy team, played another messy team.
I agree to an extent. I think the Washington football team's a better team, but the crowd was wildly into it. The game was sold out last week in Detroit. I think Detroit wins this game. I'm going with Detroit. I mean, it could go either way. It's obviously a very short line. Detroit basically just needs to win the game. We're both on the Lions, which is just shocking.
Yeah.
Next game on the board, division game. Indianapolis travels to Jacksonville. Indianapolis pisses me off because I already have to say a weird record. They're 0-1 after their tie in Houston. Jacksonville's 0-1. We just talked about them losing a back-and-forth game in Washington. I don't think they should have lost. There was a couple of ETN plays that should have went for touchdowns that did not. One was Lawrence's fault. One was ETN's fault. Regardless, Indy, slow start. I mean, they were getting beat 20-3 in Houston. They found a way to tie the game. They had a chance to win the game in overtime. Their field goal kicker missed a 42-yarder and subsequently is unemployed now.
Teddy, I'm kind of disappointed in that dude from Georgia, Rodrigo.
Hot Rod.
Freaking glasses. I mean, that dude was a stud. I'm kind of shocked. But what'd you say? Kicked 2 kickoffs out of bounds?
Did he? Did I say that? I don't know. It might have happened. I mean, it got a little foggy, I promise you. I had logged 10 hours of drinking. Monday wasn't exactly the easiest day for me.
I think it was yesterday you told me that.
Really? I probably making the board, as I say. The game here, Indianapolis is 4-point favorites. Down in Jacks. Over-under is 46.5. I like this Jacksonville team. I do. I thought they should have won.
And play better. I'm going with Indy.
You know how many times Indianapolis has struggled down in Jacksonville?
How many?
Lots. I don't know.
Oh, wait.
But meanwhile,
that was with Carson Wentz to make the playoffs.
Do you remember the last game of the season?
Yeah.
Last year?
Yeah.
Where it was like a foregone conclusion that they were going to go to Jacksonville and get that last AFC wildcard spot, and they lost the game outright.
Peterson connection.
To an Urban Meyer-led football team.
I'm going to change that.
I'm going with Jacksonville getting the 4.
I'm going with Jacksonville, too, on this now that I think about it.
I'm nervous about it. I wouldn't personally play this, but I like the juice in Jacksonville in regards to we messed up this game, and we had plenty of opportunities to win it. They're a young football team. They're home. It's their home opener. I mean, Indianapolis got to show me more than what they showed in Houston last week for me to pick them. I'm going to go ahead and take the points. Dan and I are both in agreement. We're both taking Jacksonville, getting the 4 points from Indianapolis. Next game on the board, division game. Good game here, I think. Tampa Bay and New Orleans. Tampa Bay is 1-0. They come off their win against Dallas. New Orleans 1-0. Comeback win against Atlanta, who can't close. But Tampa Bay's installed as a 3-point favorite in this game. We know about Tampa Bay. Well, that game against Dallas was ridiculous.
Yeah, no, I the whole Dak thing getting hurt and they're a mess. New Orleans is Jameis. I thought, is he hurt? Is he banged up?
No, he's fine. He's gonna play. Tampa Bay has offensive line issues, though.
Offensive line issues. Godwin looks like he's out again.
They do, and we'll see. I mean, Tom Brady's not going anywhere in the pocket, but meanwhile, they're a proven commodity. I don't think you can say
they don't play good in New Orleans, though.
Oh, Tom Brady. This is his second year in Tampa, right? 0-4 against the Saints. 0-4, both regular season games last year or the last 2 years. This is his third year, I guess, in Tampa. New Orleans, they bring that defense to the table, but it didn't really show up in Atlanta. I mean,
no.
Atlanta moved the ball on them.
I thought Atlanta had that.
Where was the defense?
It was done.
I'm going to take the lead. I think the trend continues. I think New Orleans wins this game outright. They're getting 3 points. I think at worst I draw on this game at the end, or push, if you will. I'm going to go ahead and take the Saints.
I'm
getting the
taking
3
the
points.
Saints too.
Wow, damn. This is better than last week. We've agreed on quite a few games. I feel like the only game we disagreed on right now is the Thursday night football game. Is that right?
Yeah.
That's awesome. All right, hopefully we got big winners for you, and I got a beer for that if we do. Next game on the board, Carolina and the Giants, the New York Giants. Carolina 0-1, Giants 1-0. Carolina, obviously we know, we talked briefly about their game against Cleveland, that they lost at home. I mean, Cleveland had control of the game early. Carolina took the lead. Cade York stole it from them. The awesome place kicker for the Browns. What did you think of Baker, though, with Carolina?
He started really slow. I mean, and he was missing dudes the same way he missed them in Cleveland. He's throwing it over their head. I mean, we got a pick, and it sailed freaking way over. The safety picked it off. Didn't have to do anything. But then he got his shit together. But we blew some coverage. I mean, stupid shit.
The Robbie Anderson 75-yard touchdown.
That touchdown, and then the tight end was wide open.
And Carolina's defense, if you ask me, let them down at the very end. I mean, they had a chance to win that game. They had all the momentum, and they couldn't do it. I mean, give credit to the Browns.
No, and this is, I'm going with the Giants on this because Carolina could not stop the run. And you got a beast in Saquon Barkley.
We're going to get into it. I don't even think I announced the line. The Giants are -2 in this game. The over-under is 43. The Giants come off an impressive win. Impressive may be the right word. An awesome win in Tennessee, the AFC #1 seed last year. They held Derrick Henry to 80-some yards, less than 100. But
that means their defense can play. And if you hold that beast, I mean, come on.
Awesome comeback win. They get a touchdown late, 1:06 on the clock. Brian Daboll says, fuck off, we're going for 2. We're going to fucking win this game. And they did. It was a shovel pass to Saquon Barkley, who had a great game, who looked like the Saquon of his rookie year.
Yeah.
And I tell you what, Tennessee had it defended, and Saquon put his foot in the ground because he was going to get destroyed where the hole that he was supposed to go to or where the play was designed to go, and he beat everybody to the boundary and got in. It was an awesome win. It was an awesome locker room for the Giants. I'm super happy for it. It gives me like chills, not even my football team. But I'm super happy for them. The Giants going to carry this momentum at -2 and win this football game?
Yeah, I picked the Giants. Yep.
I agree. I mean, I think there's a lot to be said about momentum and, hey, this is a fresh start. Hey, we like our head coach. Hey, this guy believes in us. He went for 2. He didn't just, push this game into overtime and say, hey, let's try to find a way. He said, fuck it, we're going to win. And they did. I mean, it can go the other way, 100% can. But he did. It worked out, and I think that momentum carries over. We both like the Giants -2 in this game. Next game on the board, kind of a fun game and weird game to me. The New England Patriots travel to Pittsburgh. The Patriots are coming off their loss down in Miami. The Steelers are coming off a win in Cincinnati. The line is, and we'll talk about it. New England's -2 in this game. The over-under is 40.5. It's not a lot. New England, they went down to Miami, where they've traditionally struggled, and Miami brings that defense to the table, and they're going to bring it to Crab City in Baltimore next week. Defense always travels.
Wow, New England's on the road again?
They are on the road again. Here's my thing with New England. They're completely void of playmakers.
I agree.
I mean, Devontae Parker was an off-season signing, if you will, but they have a nondescript running back room. Their wide receiver room doesn't impress anybody. Mac Jones, okay. I mean, he played well last year because he was, I keep on using the word protected with him, but he wasn't put in a lot of obvious passing situations last year. They would run the ball, play action, things like that. I'm not sold on Mac Jones as a quarterback. Pittsburgh comes off just that crazy game, and they should have won, they should have lost, they won. I mean, it was just nuts, that game. The missed field goals and extra points at the end.
Well, the biggest thing out of that game is all the injuries that the Steelers took. I mean,
Harris is fine. Watt is out for a bit, but he's not.
There's 7 players, 3 done for the season, 4 that are going to miss.
For the Steelers?
6, yeah.
3 done for the season?
3
starters?
Yeah, the corner's out. Because my Pittsburgh connection.
I didn't know that.
Dave, Cam Hayward's not supposed to play.
Really?
He's out 4 to 6.
The Watt thing's killer.
Watt 4 to 6. You lost a corner. Was it 2 corners? It might have been 2 corners.
I did not know all that. I know T.J. Watt's out. I mean, they had quote unquote good news in regards to T.J. Watt because we thought it was a torn pec, which puts you out for the season. It's not, and the tendon wasn't torn. He's got a pec strain. I don't know. They're looking at 4 to 6, I think, in regards to weeks. Maybe 4, hopefully 4 for them. He's the best defensive player in my mind in the National Football League.
Yeah. Well, I mean, 4 weeks on a pec injury, I think that's really pushing.
It's not torn. Oh my God, I forgot to put on our little ambiance light. That's annoying. Yeah, and it flickers a little bit.
You need a freaking lighter. What do you know?
Here's the deal. I'll take the lead again, and then I'm gonna let Dan go in the next game. I'm taking the Steelers. There's no way in my mind that the New England Patriots, with their complete lack of offensive weapons, should be a favorite in Pittsburgh. To me, I don't agree with that line at all. I think Pittsburgh should be favored by.
Those used to be great games. The Patriots versus the Steelers.
I saw something.
Roethlisberger and Brady. I mean, what the hell?
I saw something on Twitter today. The last time that it wasn't Tom Brady versus Ben Roethlisberger was how many years ago? But the starting quarterbacks, the last time that they played, and it wasn't those 2 quarterbacks starting, was Drew Bledsoe versus Cordell Stewart. How about that? To give you some reference in regards to time.
Drew Bledsoe won.
Maybe, I don't know that one. It didn't. Twitter did not tell me that part of it. I already told you. I have no belief. I think this line's off. I am taking Pittsburgh in this game 100%.
-2?
New England is -2 in this game. The over-under is 40.5.
I'm going with Pittsburgh.
This is ridiculous. I hope we have a sweep here outside of Thursday night. That starts the 4 o'clock slates. It does. Atlanta travels to the Los Angeles Rams. That's completely across the country now. I think about it. Rams are big favorites in this game, 10.5-point favorites. The over-under is 47.5. We talked a little bit earlier. We touched on the fact that Atlanta blew another lead against New Orleans, a pretty good football team.
Is Aaron Donald playing?
Why not?
Well, he should be suspended.
No way.
For his helmet.
We're not doing it.
2 helmets.
We're not going to do it.
Got helmet in both hands. I'm doing it because he should be out 6 games. It's complete bullshit. Dude shouldn't be playing. Did we ever find out what his penalty was? Hey, don't do that again.
Somehow I prefer Dan's political narrative over this narrative.
Screw that. Freaking thug.
You sure you're not ready for another beer?
6 games.
I'm
almost ready for another one.
God.
But that dude shouldn't be playing.
The Rams.
Screw him.
Rams are 10.5-point favorites. Over under is 47.5. Atlanta, let's talk about it. They can't close games. And where was Kyle Pitts? I mean, for the fantasy players, they're like, what the hell happened with Kyle Pitts? He needs to get more involved. Drake London was involved. I mean, they moved the ball. I mean, they had at least a 2-score lead against theoretically a very good New Orleans football team. The Rams, they played opening night, the Thursday night game, and they got throttled by the Buffalo Bills. I don't know about look like shit.
They look like shit.
I guess,
Plus,
but
that idiot was
you got to realize the Buffalo Bills are a super good football team. I mean,
so are the Rams.
They got outclassed by Buffalo for sure. I expect them to bounce back in this game. Are they going to bounce back by more than 10.5 points, Dan?
Nope. No.
I don't like the travel factor for Atlanta. I think Sean McVay's a pretty good coach. I think the Rams are a pretty good football team. I think they bounce back and they absolutely destroy the Falcons. I like this game a lot, even with the big number.
You're probably right. I'm going with the Rams.
Shit, I convinced him. That never happens. All right, Dan, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's 8 games running. We agree. Outside of Thursday Night Football, we've been on the same page. Play this, man. This doesn't happen very often. We'll see how it shakes the rest of the slate. Next game on the board, the Seattle Seahawks travel to San Francisco. The line is San Francisco -9 in this game. Over-under is 42. Seattle comes off that win against Denver on Monday night. How about that?
Yeah,
I thought Geno played great.
For the first half, I'm like, holy shit, he does look good.
It was awesome.
That's why, Seattle wasn't looking for a quarterback. I mean, he looked good. He made the reads. He was in control of the game.
Defense was flying around.
Yeah.
The crowd was going fucking berserk.
They looked good.
They did. I mean,
Penny's playing. I like that dude runs.
Yeah.
He's good. How the hell is San Francisco favored by this much?
San Francisco comes off of their loss in Chicago, and there's all kinds of question marks about Trey Lance again.
He didn't look great, but the weather, I mean,
yeah, the weather. That's
shit. Hey, Justin Fields made huge plays in that same weather.
He did. There was a broken cover. I mean, Fields has all kinds of athleticism, and we'll talk about the Bears in a minute. He made a play. He's a playmaker. Both these kids are playmakers. San Francisco didn't score in the second half of that game, but once again, it was a fucking
number one
monsoon.
Running backs out.
Yes, Elijah Hicks is out. Jeff Wilson Jr. for the fantasy players is the backup running back that you wanted to grab on the waiver wire. I'm sure it's too late at this point in time, but who knows how he performs. I still believe in Kyle Shanahan. Dan, it sounds like you're convinced you're taking Seattle.
I am going with Seattle on this one.
I'm not. I think Trey Lance bounces back in a big way. I really do. I think he's going to be a player. I don't know if Kittle's going to play. Kittle did not play in Chicago.
He didn't practice today.
He didn't practice again today. That hurts. I mean, he's obviously a weapon. That's a badass dude. Like, he's just, I got long hair and I don't care. And
he looks like a Viking or something.
Yeah. Dude, what's not to like about that?
Yeah.
I'm going to lay it. I'm going to buy Trey Lance in better conditions and lay the 9. We'll see how it shakes.
He's better where people shit on the sidewalk.
There's the political narrative we were all missing. Very good. Dan and I are at odds for the first time since Thursday Night Football. I am on San Francisco -9. Dan's going to go ahead and take the points.
He must have been scared in the murder capital of the world.
Where's the murder capital of the world?
Chicago.
Is it still?
Hey, what the hell?
Detroit? Chicago?
No, Detroit. No, come on.
No?
Detroit's not even on
Youngstown, Ohio. I was there today doing commercials. I'm not going to give all cities a bad rap. Next game on the board, crazy game. It could have been a lot better game, certainly. It is the Cincinnati Bengals traveling to Big D, playing Dallas. How about them Cowboys? That shit did not work out when I said that last week against Tampa. Cincinnati is a 7-point favorite in this game in Dallas. Over-under is 43.5. We're going to talk about Cincinnati first, and I'm not sure if they should have won the game, should have lost the game, should have won the game. I mean, it was so back and forth. But
they should have won because they were playing the Steelers, and I hate the Steelers more than I hate the Bengals.
But here's the question. What did Cincinnati do in the offseason? What did they fix?
The offensive line, and it sure looked like shit. That La'el Collins got his ass kicked by T.J. Watt all day long.
They replaced 4 starters on the offensive line.
Well, I mean...
You know how many sacks they gave up?
7.
7 sacks. What the fuck? is got to be what is coming out of Houday Nation. Like, what is going on with that? Burrow threw 4 picks. He was under duress. I think he fumbled the ball. I think he was accountable.
Was it 4 or 5?
4. He was accountable for 5 turnovers, 4 picks, and a fumble. Joe Burrow's a good player, dude. There's no two ways about that. That's not going to happen. It's a family tradition. I am tired of saying that, actually. Dallas. I mean, obviously, Dallas comes off.
Dallas is a freaking mess. That team's a mess.
They are. I mean, well, and now Dak Prescott. I mean, they're starting.
Well, okay. You going into the season when they got the final cut downs, they cut every quarterback on the roster.
They did. They did.
And now,
brought back the practice squad.
Yeah, and you're stuck with Cooper Rush, and it's like, wait, this is the dude you cut, and you
right.
I mean, I
got a prediction for you. Mike McCarthy doesn't survive the season.
No.
I'm tired.
No,
Jerry Jones keeps on giving this vote of confidence bullshit. There's no way. Generally, he doesn't stand for incompetence, and I think it was a bad hire to start with. Maybe he'll take the egg on his face and fire him mid-season. I don't know. Who's the offensive coordinator there? Do you know?
That's Kellen.
Kellen Moore.
Yeah, from Boise State.
Yes.
He played. I think he was quarterback for Dallas.
100%.
Which I mean, he's okay, but
Big D stands for disaster right now. It's an absolute disaster. I love Micah Parsons. He was great in the game. But meanwhile, where is this going to come from? The offensive line was not great not good or great against Tampa Bay. Cincinnati -7 in this game.
This is another one of those hook ones.
Bounce back Bengals for me. I think they're going to wreck them. I think it's going to be huge turmoil in Dallas, and I think Cincinnati with their. But is T. Higgins going to play off his concussion?
I don't know. He's
a great
supposedly
receiver.
Doing better.
T. Higgins is quote unquote the number 2 receiver for the Bengals because Jamar Chase is there. But that dude would play
Higgins,
one receiver on a
Jamar
lot of football
Chase,
teams.
You got Taj Boyd or
Tyler Boyd. Yeah, they got weapons. I'm gonna lay it.
The tight end actually looked pretty good too. And I can't remember.
I don't know.
Hurst?
Hayden Hurst?
Was he a Stanford kid? Or he played for the Ratbirds?
Yes, he did. He played. I don't know his collegiate career. I don't. I like Cincinnati to bounce back.
I'm going with Cincinnati.
And you're talking about Cooper Rush or Will Greer playing quarterback?
Yeah, no, they screwed themselves. They should have got a quarterback.
I mean, there's no way Cincinnati's going to go 0-2, and I think Dallas is. I mean, whether or not Cincinnati covers the number is the question. We're both on the Bengals?
Yep.
Houday -7 for both Dan and I. Next game on the board, Dan is going to get his second beer. It is the Houston Texans traveling to Mile High. I have no idea what it's called now. Denver, that altitude.
Capital.
Denver is 10-point favorite. The over-under is 44 in this game. Houston comes off of that tie. I'm super annoyed still that I got to say records. 0-1 Houston travels to 1-0 Denver. Houston, they look great. They were up 20-3 in this football game. Pissed it away and tied the game in overtime. Let me ask you this. What do you think about Lovie Smith's decision? Did you see Lovie Smith's decision
I didn't see anything on that. No.
4th and I want to say it was 3 with like very little time left in the game. Very little time. 30 minutes, punted it. What do you think about that? Doesn't say a whole lot of fucking confidence in your offense. I don't like that message.
Where were they out on the field? I don't know.
Like midfield.
That's still, I mean, you only need a couple yards to get in
You
field
could
goal
have
range
lost,
and
but
lose.
you could have won.
It was 4th and what?
What about 3? What's the message, dude? The message is fucking bad. Like, bad to me. Like, I question that decision a lot. Houston Davis Mills played pretty well. Fantasy football players, Damian Pierce, Rex Burkhead, that's a mess in regards to who's going to get the load carrier or the running back carries. I keep on mentioning fantasy stuff, but that's not what this show's about. And then Denver loses this game on Monday night.
Next week, fucking that tattoo's going to be here, special guest. What the hell? Fantasy Island bullshit. The plane.
The plane. What are you talking about, though?
Did you ever watch Fantasy Island?
Yeah, tattoo.
Yeah,
The plane.
Yeah.
He's going to be where?
Here.
What do you mean?
Because you keep talking on fantasy shit.
Oh.
Come on.
It took me a while to register what was going on.
How much beer have you drank?
I didn't eat. Really? Dinner?
Oh,
I didn't
that's
eat any
the
dinner.
problem.
But anyway, that's not a problem.
You don't eat
You
ever.
made some weird fucking reference. It's not my problem.
That's
Denver minus
weird.
10
Everybody
game.
on this show that sees it knows who fucking Tattoo is from Fantasy Island.
I do too.
Now
What's
you
his
do.
favorite peanut?
Peanut.
The plain. Not peanut.
That's what
Not
you said.
caramel. Not pretzel. The plain.
You asked
the
me
plain.
what his favorite peanut was.
This is getting loose.
All right, yeah.
Very good. Denver minus 10. I mean, Dan's a coach at heart. I want to hear what he thinks about this coaching decision at the end.
That's not even the end. I mean, the entire game, Denver took way too long in the huddle, and then they would break with 12 seconds left, and then Russ is surveying the defense, and they were barely getting the playoff. I mean, they got the benefit of the doubt the majority of the time where they didn't get a delay game, which I thought was bullshit.
So you think there's communication problems, which shouldn't happen
There's
after
a shit ton of problems on that
3
team.
preseason games.
And you spent how many million or thousand or whatever, $250,000 or $1 billion on him?
$256 million on Russ Wilson.
There's definitely a conflict there. There's some shit that happened behind the scenes this week that we don't know about. But I'm telling you, that was a disaster.
It's so
first
easy
game.
to
They should have kicked the field goal in the first half. Didn't they go for it on fourth down?
They did. There was both teams ended up inside the 5-yard line turning the ball either on downs or turnovers. It was a little bit of a sloppy game in regards to that. But I want on the record, what do you think about the last play of the game? Should they went for the 60-plus yard field goal, or should they went
They
for it
should
on
have taken a
4th and 3?
timeout to save the clock. Number one.
I agree with Dan.
You don't let 20 seconds run off.
Bad clock management. I'll start there.
Very bad. And then you discuss it. And part of the discussion is, what was it, 4th and 3?
I don't know.
What play do we have? That 4th and 3. What are we good at? How can we get them?
Run pass
How can we
option with
move
Russ.
somebody? Yeah, he's a good runner with the ball. 3 yards. That's not hard to accomplish.
It's so easy.
And you
to
still
do.
had 2 timeouts left.
You did. It's so easy to be an armchair
Freaking
quarterback.
stupid.
What do you think about the decision?
That's not even armchair quarterbacking. That's everybody watching the game. I mean, you don't watch the Peyton or the Manning cast because Peyton Manning was.
I watched part of it.
It was. You should have seen it when they were doing that bullshit.
Hold on. Your field goal kicker obviously comes to you before the game and says, "I can make it from this distance." That's it. That's the limit that we have.
Yeah,
he obviously said it was more than whatever the 60.
Rodrigo and fucking Indy said the same thing.
We're not talking about that.
This, but they're all going to say it.
But here's the question. He said
he's going to walk up and go, "No, I can't make it." And then tomorrow he's going to be like, they're going to be like, "Get
no,
the
it's
fuck
not
out.
about can't
Here's your
make
shit
it.
in the
It's
box."
about do you have the distance. He said, "I have the distance." Do you have a problem with the decision?
Yes, totally.
Because you just paid $256 million for a quarterback who's supposed to make this play.
Game. But
Yeah.
me as the coach calling the plays screwed up the whole game, the entire game. You give them 3 plays and they're huddling up, and then they break with 12 seconds left, and no, it was a disaster.
I kind of agree with Dan, and here's my whole thing with this. If it was last year...
What the hell's his name?
Who?
The coach.
Nathaniel Hackett.
Yeah, from Green Bay?
Offensive coordinator from Green Bay. Here's the thing. I completely agree with the decision. If it's last year, hold on, just hear me out.
If they're in Denver where the fucking air's lighter or something.
And it's Drew Lock who's your quarterback, but you just paid $250. That's the quarterback.
If it's Drew Lock's the quarterback in that position.
Okay, fine. But Drew Lock's a quarterback. You kick the field goal and take it. I have no problem with the decision. Russ Wilson, you just paid $256 million for a huge contract to come in there to make the play to win the football game. That's why I think you have to put the vote of confidence with Russ and go that way. I mean, it's difficult.
How many passes did Cortland Sutton catch in that game?
I don't know, 4 or 5? I don't know.
None.
Bullshit. I saw him catch them.
I don't know. I don't think he had any. No, he might have had 1.
Dude, I saw him catch
I think he only
balls.
had 1.
I'm not pulling it up on my phone right now, but I think Dan's incorrect.
I know he had 1.
That's all of a sudden we have a mistakes part of the program from the previous week. So we missed birthdays last week. We'll see about Cortland Sutton. Let's see if it makes the program. We're still on this line. Denver minus 10. We're going to certainly run over on this game. What do you think? Houston going to come in there and keep this game tight, or is it going to be a blowout? I like Houston in the game. I do.
I'm taking Denver because I think Russell goes, fuck this. And he changes his shit and does what he wants on the line.
There's a lot to be said about home openers and wild crowds and things like that, and altitude for Houston as well. I mean, it's not like a travel situation. Houston and Denver's not a problem.
No.
Altitude is. But I like what I saw from the Houston Texan football team. They should have beat Indianapolis. They 100% should. I think they stay under this number. I do think Denver wins the game. I don't think it's by 10 or more. Dan and I are odds.
Denver.
Another time, so. All right, very good. Next game on the board is the Arizona Cardinals going to Las Vegas to play the Raiders. Both teams are 0-1. The line is the Vegas Raiders -5.5. The over-under is 51.5, I think, if my writing and scribbling is correct. Arizona, like I said, 0-1. They lost to Kansas City. They got throttled pretty good.
They look like shit.
They did.
I mean, I thought that game was going to be close, a little entertaining, 4 o'clock game, but man,
it was like a marquee game for the 4 o'clock slate. 100% was with
awful.
Green Bay and Minnesota. It wasn't good. I mean, Kyle, what the hell is the Cliff Kingsbury? I always struggle with him. I don't buy the Cardinals. I think they struggle without D-Hop. The Raiders have offensive line problems. They still do. They were kind of mixing them in and out. Derek Carr, Devontae Adams, that connection happened. I still think they're a pretty good football team. They got some things to figure out on the offensive line for sure, which was the problem last year, and they've drafted multiple people. Raiders -5.5 in this game, Dan?
I'm going with the Raiders.
Me too. I think they bounce back. I love them at home. Home openers mean something. I'm with the Raiders -5.5 in this game. Next game on the board is Sunday Night Football.
Get out of here. This is a Sunday night game?
It is the...
I still own you.
No, Jesus. It is the Chicago Football Bears who are undefeated, undisputed, first place in the NFC North, traveling to their arch rivals.
When was the last time you could say that? First place.
Long fucking time. Long time. They travel to Green Bay. Green Bay is a 10-point favorite in this game. The over is 43. Bears, they come off their win against San Francisco. We talked about the crazy conditions in Chicago. I told you the narrative was wrong. I did. I told you that the Chicago Bears are a fundamental football team that do not commit a lot of penalties. They committed 3 in the football game. They won that battle. Like defensive breakdowns, they didn't have it. San Francisco had a couple. Like huge big plays that just defensive breakdowns. That's fucking coaching. It's the new coaching staff in town. Matt Eberflus, I give a ton of credit to for this. The narrative that the Bears are a shitty football team is wrong. The offense is still certainly a work in progress. And they do not have a ton of playmakers. I'll gladly admit that. They have a playmaker at quarterback in Justin Fields. And he made the plays. Green Bay. They come off a loss in Minnesota. I told you I like Minnesota to win the North, and I think they're real. Dude, what happened to that defense?
I don't know.
They have a very good defense.
Yeah.
They have a very good defense.
I was shocked by that.
Justin Jefferson was running like wide open all over the fucking place. And Justin Jefferson is the best football in the National Football League, if you ask me. There's an argument for Cooper Kupp. I don't think there's an argument for another person. I personally think it's Justin Jefferson. Did you see the opening play of the game?
No.
Packers got the ball. Rodgers drops back. Unloads a fucking bomb.
Oh, is that the drop?
Yes. Like horrible drop. Like, I mean, he threw it perfectly. He did.
That was the first play?
First play from scrimmage.
Holy shit.
The whole game.
I didn't see that. I didn't know it was
Touchback. Green Bay gets the ball at the 25. Aaron Rodgers unloads a perfect ball to Christian Watson. It goes right between his hands. But here's the thing. I mean, you heard. And here's the other thing about this. I mean, Green Bay played horribly. They played last year, opening week, in New Orleans, and they lost the game, I think, 38-3. And it was the quote from Aaron Rodgers that said, R-E-L-A-X.
Yeah, relax.
We're fine.
Just do it.
All right.
What's that song?
By the way, we'll talk about this later on. I did not know that Dan is an 80s music fan and knows all the songs, but I'm sure that'll come out in the podcast later in the year. Anyway, I mean, obviously, this is a work in progress with the Green Bay offense and their receivers. And Aaron Rodgers wants to blame on them. But listen, how about Aaron Rodgers? How about you go to fucking OTAs? How about you not go to some weird fucking rainforest and do like fucking LSD or something?
Yeah.
How about you go to fucking OTAs and work with these guys? Anyway, I hope I don't get in trouble for that. Aaron Rodgers, I think you're a great player. Don't sue me. I don't know if it was LSD or not. Anyway.
It was something. He did something, and we're.
He did. Why don't you say it? So we both could become codependents.
Whatever.
I don't think he said it. You're a great player. Anyway, Green Bay -10. Are they going to shellac the Bears, Dan?
No, I'm going with the Bears.
Me too. There's, once again, expected weather in Green Bay. I know this because I'm fanatical, and I check forecasts for the Bears when they play on the road.
I actually know what you're talking about. I saw that thing on the weather.
Yes.
Yeah, it's going to keep the...
I hope it's not thunderstorms because I hate delays in games. But there could be difficult conditions. Green Bay didn't show me enough. I like the Bear defense. I like their mentality going in there. For them to come out of Lambeau with a win, it would be shocking to me probably. But I like them to certainly get on the number of 10.
Yep.
Quirk in the schedule. Week 2, we have 2 Monday Night Football games, Dan.
Yeah, I don't know why they did this. And they're like a half hour apart, start time or something?
7:15 and an 8:30. They're an hour and 15 apart, which is super annoying. You know, I mean, super annoying.
Not if you have 2 TVs in your garage.
Ooh, I'm not going to be over on Monday now. I'm not going to be over on Monday.
That's fine. I got practice anyways.
That's largely a lay on the couch, you know, and watch football night. But anyway, the first game on the board, Monday Night Football, and we should get some viewing stuff for you guys. The first game at 7:15 is on ESPN. It is Tennessee at Buffalo.
Wait, who are the announcers for this bullshit?
That's Joe Buck and Troy Aikman on ESPN that you couldn't get through your head. One? Oh, I don't know this because ABC's owned by ESPN. ABC has the nightcap, if you will, the hour and 15-minute later game at 8:30. So I don't know. I mean, it very well could be. I mean, I think Minnesota and Philadelphia is a better game. It very well could be Joe Buck and Troy Aikman on that game.
Actually, I think the Tennessee-Buffalo game is a good game.
You think it's better? I mean, I'm an AFC guy. You're an AFC guy. Obviously, our teams reside in different conferences. First game on the board, Tennessee, they're 0-1. They come off the loss against the Giants. Buffalo comes off an absolute beatdown in L.A. against the defending champion, the Rams. Buffalo is a 9.5-point favorite in this game over Tennessee. The Tennessee Titans go as Derrick Henry goes. He was under 100 yards last week against the Giants. It wasn't a great showing. I think they miss A.J. Brown. Like Tannehill,
sure.
Like to have that stud receiver is a big deal, and he doesn't have it anymore. I mean, he's got Treylon Burks. He's got Robert Woods, who was on the Los Angeles Rams last year. I
mean, the NFL, I mean, there's plenty of shit talking that goes on the field, and I'm sure they're in that rookie's head. You know,
Burks?
Yeah.
I would like to see Mike Vrabel, who Dan and I both love, and I say it all the time. I would like to see a package from Malik Willis. I really do. I don't know what kind of message that sends to your team and Ryan Tannehill as your starting quarterback, but I think I would address it with both of them. You go and talk to them.
We're doing this to win a freaking game. If you don't like it, get the fuck out.
Right, and the key to all this is communication. And Vrabel, if that was the case, Vrabel goes to Ryan Tannehill and Malik Willis and puts them in a room together and says, this is what we're doing. It doesn't have anything to say with you. It doesn't have anything to say about you. It has to say about this football team trying to win a football game. And I think this is the best way for us to win a football game, and I'm the fucking head coach. And that's it. As long as you communicate, it's fine.
I think I just said that in a much shorter version than what you said.
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably. I have to be the long-winded one of the two of us.
I'm going with Tennessee on this. I think Buffalo wins, but I don't think it's going to be like 10 points.
Dan and I both pick Buffalo to win the Super Bowl. In the season prediction show, they looked the part. Man, holy shit, did they look the part? I think Josh Allen's MVP. I think they wrecked Tennessee. I do. I'm on Buffalo. I think they wrecked them minus 9.5.
10 points?
Yeah, I think they beat
9.5?
them. Unless Tennessee can control the ball with Derrick Henry, and I'm not sure they can. You see what Von Miller did? I mean, Von Miller was great last week.
Von Miller don't stop the run.
He does not, correct. He gets to the quarterback. Then our odds, the second nightcap, if you will, of the Monday Night Football slate is Minnesota at Philadelphia. Minnesota's 1-0. We just briefly talked about them coming off their win against Green Bay. Philadelphia won in Detroit. by a field goal, unfortunately. Anyway, Philadelphia, this is a great football game in my mind. Philadelphia minus 1.5, over under a lot of points, 51.5. This was, on Season Prediction Show, this was my NFC Conference Championship pick. Two teams, what some people may think out of nowhere. It's not the Rams. It's not the Buccaneers. It's not the Packers. These are the two teams that I think are the best in the NFC. I think it's going to shake out that way. We'll see. I did not know that we were going to have a matchup like this in week 2. Minnesota, they came off an absolute, they controlled the game start to finish against Green Bay. Their defense is good, I think. Justin Jefferson's an awesome playmaker.
Yeah.
Adam Thielen's there. Dalvin Cook's there. Kirk Cousins distributes the football. They're a damn good football team in my mind. Philadelphia, I love this football team. I don't know where the defense was last week in Detroit. I don't know where that went. They gave up 35 points. I think their defense is good, or I thought it was going to be good. They lost Derek Barnett, their pass rusher, for the season. Their rushing game's phenomenal. They had 4 people rush for a touchdown. 4 different people rush for a touchdown, including the quarterback, Hurts, and all 3 of their running backs stable. This is a great game. I have no idea who's going to win this game. It's a short line. Philadelphia minus 1.5. Dan.
I got to go with Philly because they're at home. I think it's going to be a close game. It's good, but the line's really close. It's a toss-up.
I think Minnesota's a better football team. I'm going with Philadelphia. Home, I am. Home opener
But
team.
that's what that's
opener.
why I went with Philly.
Fuck, those Philly fans might be throwing fucking batteries at people. Who knows what the hell is going to go on there? It's
so
going to be.
both on Philly. There's very few games where not.
It's going to be raucous. There for sure. That's the entire slate of the National Football League. It is time for our best picks, known as Elephant Picks. Dan, are you ready? Do you have something on the board? I'm not going to waste time on mine.
Browns.
Me too. How about that fucking week of the National Football League? I love the Browns. I love their run game against the Jets. I think they have runaway winners. Brownie the Elf is at midfield. Those are all good karma things. Me too.
That's
Really?
crazy. Yeah, no, that's...
It was my pick from the gate because Dan's like, why does it take so damn long last week in regards to this stuff? And I surveyed it before Dan got here. I'm like, that's a game I pick. And I didn't waver. Sometimes we go through these games and I start thinking differently because we're both in agreement on something. And then I'm like, oh, wait, maybe that's right. That's a better idea type of thing. We both love the Brownies, -6 in this game. We always give you guys a bonus college football pick. This week, the game I picked is the Michigan State Spartans, who are 11th ranked, going
to Washington.
Going to Washington, unranked Washington. The Washington Cougars, I believe, they're 3-point favorites in this game. Cougars?
Is it Washington State or the Huskies?
Washington State. Wait, it's Washington, the purple and gold team, not the red team.
Okay.
I think it's the Washington. Is it Huskies?
That's
Washington
Washington State.
No, you're right. You're right. Washington Huskies, right? And
Yes.
Washington State Cougars. Damn, that sucks. I should have done better. Both teams are 2-0, obviously. Washington is a 3-point favorite, even though Michigan State's ranked 11th. Both these teams came up like warm up wins last week. Michigan's.
I don't know how it's -3. It's crazy. It's like I would stay totally away from this game.
I think it's a fun game to pick. Michigan State comes off an absolute beatdown of our hometown Akron Zips.
Yeah.
52-0.
Did they cover?
Yeah, 34 was the number.
Really?
Yes.
That's low.
Washington, they came off a beatdown of Portland State, another warm-up game. I think they won 52-6. Similar numbers. Peyton Thorne, but the identity for Michigan State isn't running yet. They have a pretty good quarterback in Peyton Thorne. But why I'd really picked this game is the intriguing quarterback matchup. Do you remember Michael Penix Jr., the quarterback out of Indiana?
No.
He was a very athletic quarterback. He got hurt. I remember the game was open.
From Indiana University?
Yes.
Or the university?
Yeah. I think he got hurt in the game, the opening week last year maybe against Penn State, and never played again.
Yeah.
He is the Washington quarterback. He transferred. Obviously, all that stuff happens in college football. It's hard to keep track of to an extent. I love Michael Penix. I love his athletic ability. I think that Washington wins this game.
Michigan State.
Hey, Dan's taking the Big Ten. I'm on Washington -3. That's been your entire slate of the National Football League. I hope week 2 is as week 1, or as fun as week 1. We appreciate all the comments, the viewerships. Thank you so much across the board for watching, listening. We'll be back week 3 to redo it, or do it all again, right?
Yeah, we'll do it again. As long as you keep watching, we'll do it.
For sure. Thank you.